Hello children, I am Abhishek back again. Here's little suggestions or like tips I can say for the subjects like physics and chemistry. To begin with, I would first like to start with the important suggestions you can say, the guidelines you can say, the tips you can say related to chemistry chapters. So now in this video, what you are going to observe is all the do's and don'ts related to the chemistry chapters. So chapter number 2, chapter number 3, chapter number 8 and chapter number 9. Let's go for it. Whenever you are attempting a chemistry related question, wherever possible, support your answer with chemical reaction. Nicely write down the chemical equation. You'll be having a reactants and products, and as far as possible, try to put that chemical equation in the box. तो जितने भी chemical reactions है, please keep on practicing it, right? Now if you ask how many chemical reactions are there, अब पूरे syllabus में सिर्फ 4 chapters है chemistry के, उसमें भी chapter 2 जो है, उसमें कुछ ज्यादा है ही नहीं, ना ही hydrocarbons chapter 9 इतना कुछ है. So chemical reactions की जब बात आती है, तो which are the 2 chapters which should click? It is chapter number 3 and it is chapter number 8. उसमें से अगर मैं बोलूं तो चैप्टर 3 is very very important. You have lots of chemical reaction in that, and yes, even chapter 8 metallurgy, उसमें earlier you have all the metals related chemical reactions, reaction of metal with acid and so on. So do not forget to study the chemical reactions, especially from chapter number 3 and chapter number 8. All right. Next, when you are writing a chemical reaction, do not forget to write the name of the reactant and name of the product also. सिर्फ chemical reaction लिख के छोड़ना नहीं. मतलब अगर मैं simple language में बात करूं, डायग्राम कैसे, आप सिर्फ डायग्राम ड्रॉ करके आगे बढ़ते हो क्या? नहीं, लेबल भी करते हो ना. That's a part of it. Similarly, when you write chemical reaction, always have the habit to write the name of the product as well as the reactant. So वो आदत डालो कि सिर्फ chemical reaction practice नहीं करना. So whenever you are practicing at home as well, do not just write only chemical reaction. After writing chemical reaction, write the reactant below it, write the product also below that. Of course, next, draw the box. This we have already discussed many times. So the next is most important again. जब भी आप chemical reaction का पढ़ाई करते हो, very important children, you have to remember the color of the gas, you have to remember the color of the precipitate, and you have to remember the color of the solution also. These 3 are very very important. I'll just give one example. Suppose if you support your answer only writing a chemical reaction and below that reactants and product, and assuming that it is a correct one, you will get marks. So like that, when you keep getting all the marks, at the end of the paper, your grand total reaches to 39, even 40. So now what happens is, apart from examiner, there are 2 more people who are going to go through your paper. I'm sure you all must be aware. There's somebody called as moderator and somebody called as chief moderator. Now these people need this. So whenever you are writing chemical reaction, do not forget to remember these 3 points. I'll quickly recap those 3 points. 1, you need to remember the color of the gas. You need to remember the color of the precipitate, and you need to remember the color of the solution. This is very very important. Normally जो fumble होता है children का, वो यहाँ पे होता है. They know chemical reaction very well. They know reactants and products very well. But very few people are prepared with this. And trust me children, if you really expect 40 on 40, then you should deserve that thorough study. If you have not thoroughly prepared everything, then tell me children, do you deserve 40 on 40? No, that's unfair. So अगर 40 on 40 चाहिए, तो मेहनत भी उसी हिसाब से चाहिए. So I hope I'm clear with this point. That's very important. Moving ahead, physical state अगर आप लिखते हो तो बहुत अच्छा. Like solid है, aqueous है, gaseous है, anything. But it is, see, in short, what I'm trying to tell you is, जितना भी इंफॉर्मेशन आप लिख सकते हो उस केमिकल रिएक्शन के बारे में, वो सभी इंफॉर्मेशन उसमें आनी चाहिए. दैट्स अ सिंपल नटशॉट. ऑलराइट. लास्टली, एक क्वेश्चन 3 में ना एक हमेशा क्वेश्चन पूछते हैं, व्हाट आर द स्टेप्स फॉर बैलेंसिंग केमिकल रिएक्शन या फॉर बैलेंसिंग केमिकल इक्वेशन. ये क्वेश्चन बहुत बार आजकल देखा है कि वो आता ही है. मतलब instead of telling you to balance a chemical equation, they will ask you to write the steps. Procedure क्या है chemical equation balance करने का? तो remember, always prepare कम से कम 2 examples जिसमें आप steps लिखने के बाद as an example you can write that chemical equation. Alright? Next, very important point, whenever you have turned the pages of your textbook, you must have always seen couple of headings. Can you tell and do you know? ये हमेशा inverted में आता है, quotes में आता है. Can you tell and do you know? बहुत बार क्या होता है ना, students think that this is not the part of the lesson, क्योंकि वो ऐसे बीच में किधर भी randomly, sometimes at the left side, sometimes in the middle of the page, sometimes in the corner of the page, they give one small box. And वो lesson का continuity के चक्कर में हम उसको थोड़ा नजरअंदाज करते हैं. So remember, this is where the paper setter can trap you. By asking a question, एक बोलते हैं गूगली, तो वो इसमें से डालते हैं. So do not forget to study can you tell as well as do you know, these kind of a questions. Alright? Next. जैसे बचपन में आप सुनते आ रहे हो कि मैथ्स का पेपर है तो कम से कम आपके 30 तक टेबल्स आपको आने चाहिए, सर्टन स्क्वायर रूट्स आपको पता होने चाहिए. बस वैसा ही है केमिस्ट्री का भी है. मिनिमम फर्स्ट 20 एलिमेंट्स का आपको इलेक्ट्रॉनिक कॉन्फ़िगरेशन पता होना चाहिए एंड उसका वैलेंसी पता होना चाहिए. दिस इज अ मस्ट. ओके, बिकॉज once you are done with these 20 elements, trust me, your chapter number 2 is half done. Chapter number 2 will be very easy once you know this first 20 elements. So even otherwise also, whenever the chemical reaction comes, if you are aware of the valency, then balancing chemical reaction becomes very easy. So again, I would just repeat that point. First 20 elements are very, very important. All right. Moving further, when it comes to metallurgy chapter, yes, diagram is very, very important. Diagram is a must because it's a theoretical answer, I would say. Extraction के ऊपर आता है तो पूरा theory है, तो you cannot just write theory ना. और ये normally आता है तो वो last question number 4 में, which is of 5 marks. तो 5 marks के लिए only if you write theory, it's not going to suffice. So you have to draw the diagram as well. So practice the diagram. Like one example I've shown here, extraction of aluminium. So extraction of aluminium में you have to write, I mean, the concentration of ore, and there is another method that is electrolytic reduction of alumina. So when you are going to write the answer for this as a 5-mark question, you have to draw the diagram. Okay, that was the example from my side. Similarly, you can even get the short notes based on this. There's a concentration of ore. Instead of 5 marks, they can put it in question number 3 for 3 marks. So during that time also, wherever possible, support your answer with chemical reaction, and if it has a diagram, support your answer with a diagram as well. तभी ये नहीं सोचना कि अरे ये 5 मार्क का नहीं है, 3 मार्क का है. तो marks छोड़ो उसको. Whatever you have prepared for that particular question, you are supposed to write everything, irrespective of the marks. Next, composition of alloys. Now this is generally related to your chapter number 8. Metallurgy से related है ये सब. So metallurgy से related, these are the things which you should know. Most importantly, reactivity series. One question is sure to come based on this. Either you can expect one new reason based on the reactivity series, and you never know, they may ask you कि this so and so element X reacts with this element Y does not react. तो उसका reactivity series में position कहाँ पे है? That is very, very important. So it is better to know the reactivity series. Common questions I can say related to your chapter number 3 is rancidity, corrosion, periodic trend. Now this periodic trend is basically from chapter number 2. And now एक last chapter के ऊपर बात करते हैं, that is carbon compounds. So इसके बाद कुछ points carbon compounds के ऊपर भी है. सबसे पहले very first thing is you should know the electron dot structure of at least these elements. You should know this H2O2, CH4, C2H6, ये सारे elements का आपको electron dot structure मालूम होना चाहिए. Alright? Moving further, homologous series, that's very important. I'm sure by now you have practiced a lot alkane, alkene, alcohol. So entire homologous series is important. IUPAC names are important. मतलब from carbon compounds, even if you do this much, I think it's more than enough. बिकॉज वो चैप्टर बहुत लेंदी है. So that is the first impression that every child gets. The moment they start with carbon compounds, एक तो होता है ना ये वो last chapter है. मतलब by the time you are done with the chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 8, you know, almost the stamina is over, I would say. Saturation level पे पहुंच जाते हो. And then suddenly you come across a chapter which is very lengthy. So then what I thought is, let me give you the pointers so that at least you are practicing these things. तो जैसे जैसे आपका एक एक टॉपिक हो जाता है वो चैप्टर का, जस्ट गो ऑन डूइंग द टिक मार्क्स. तो पहले इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर किया, फिर होमोलोगस सीरीज एंड आईयूपीएसी. सी एज फार एज पॉसिबल डू होमोलोगस सीरीज एंड आईयूपीएसी टुगेदर. उसको स्प्लिट नहीं करना. इलेक्ट्रॉन डॉट स्ट्रक्चर यू कैन डू इट सेपरेटली. पॉइंट नंबर 16 एंड पॉइंट नंबर 17 यू कैन डू इट टुगेदर. एंड देन ऑफ कोर्स पॉइंट नंबर 18 यू कैन डू इट आराम से. वो भी सेम चैप्टर का है बट थोड़ा आराम से कर सकते हो. यू कैन स्प्लिट इट. So rather than doing the whole chapter in one go, you can split that chapter in 3 parts. That is what I can suggest. All right. Okay. Last but not the least, you have polymers also from the same chapters. एक chart है वो polymers का. So uses and all you should know. Just try to connect it with your day-to-day life and accordingly you can write the uses. That's it. So I hope you must have gone through this entire instructions right from paper pattern to the time management, the approximate weightage, and I'm sure you will make a note of all these things and accordingly plan your Science 1 studies, your portion. And yes, I think that's it from my side. So on the behalf of your entire team of the target, we wish you all the best for your board exam. If you have any kind of a problem, do write to us. The email ID is given here, so you can anytime contact us and we are there for you. Thank you so much.